Federal government attributes exit from recession to fiscal and monetary policies as well as sustainability plan. Federal Executive Council approves more than 8 billion naira for reconstruction and rehabilitation of roads in the FCT. Oil prices hit 13-month highs on tighter supplies as stock markets also sustain gains. And National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy Paper 2021 is in focus today on Business Express. The program is reaching you on the network service of the NTA from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. Good to have you join us at this moment, and we start with the news that the Federal Executive Council has approved more than 8 billion naira for the construction and rehabilitation of critical roads infrastructure in the Federal Capital Territory. FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello, who announced this while briefing newsmen on the Council's resolution, said more than 372 million naira is also to be expended on the purchase of needed equipment for enhanced safety in the city.
Infrastructure project relates to the contract for the construction of an access road and car park for the Abuja Light Rail Station at Ring Road 2, otherwise known as Kukuaba Station. The intention is that by the opening of that road, that railway station will be made functional, and then commuters can use the station either when they visit the national park there or when they want to have access to the Kukuaba district.
The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, has attributed Nigeria's exit from recession despite COVID-19 to the pragmatic implementation of the nation's fiscal and monetary policies, as well as economic sustainability plan. The minister stated this while addressing journalists shortly after a briefing the Federal Executive Council on the fourth quarter GDP report estimate recently released by the National Bureau of Statistics.
Is one of the shortest lived recessions we have witnessed in the country, despite the impact of the COVID-19, is an indication that the policies that are being implemented are the right ones, and the trajectory is a positive one, and that Nigeria is well on its way of restoring a consistent and stable growth, a growth that we hope to grow to be a strong growth from the fragile growth that we now have at 0.11%. Another positive story for us is that the non-oil sector grew by 1.69%. This is an indication that the diversification efforts that the economy has been pushing is actually also posting results. While the oil sector is declining, the non-oil sector is growing. We've seen overall economic activities reported strongly in the quarrying and minerals sector, in the ICT and telecommunications sector, in the cement industry, in broadcasting, in crop production, as well as in agriculture.
The minister also added that the Finance Bill 2020 was designed to reduce import duties on some commodities, including vehicles, as part of measures to make transportation affordable, thereby reducing the cost of foodstuff in the country. Moving on, the manufacturing sector may not be amongst major contributors to the latest 0.11% GDP growth that saw Nigeria exit recession, but the sector is said to have made significant contribution in the fourth quarter of 2020. Musa Abubakar looks at the figures and how manufacturing will contribute to play a major role in the country's economy.
Lariat Al-Hassan is a pen manufacturer and a deco service provider. She's an employer of labor and one of many local manufacturers contributing to the nation's gross domestic product. It is efforts of manufacturers like her and bigger companies that saw the nation's GDP grew by 0.11% in the fourth quarter after 2 quarters of contraction.
Most of us were projecting that the economy will come out of recession probably the second quarter of this year, that's 2021. But surprisingly and pleasantly surprisingly, Nigeria came out of recession at the end of this fourth quarter of 2020, which for me is a very cheering or emotionally uplifting news, economic news for every Nigerian. You also saw that we had a slower decline in sectors like the manufacturing sector.
National Bureau of Statistics figures indicates that manufacturing sector grew by minus 1.51% year on year, lower than the same quarter in 2019. Major contributors on the manufacturing sector are cement, food, beverage and tobacco, plastic and rubber products, as well as motor vehicle and assembly. This is attributed to continuous government intervention and programs targeted towards providing conducive environment for manufacturers like Lariat Al-Hassan.
Committee's current priority remains to quicken the pace of the recovery through sustained and targeted spending by the fiscal authority, supported by the central bank's interventions.
With the recession out of the way, contributions of Lariat and other manufacturers are needed again to move the economy forward. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy Paper 2021 was unveiled by President Muhammadu Buhari this week, signifying the rejuvenation and renewal of his administration's promise and commitment to national security and economic prosperity. The critical compendium, which was produced by the Office of the National Security Advisor in furtherance of sustained efforts at effectively confronting the dynamic nature of threats in Nigeria's cyberspace. Protecting the cyberspace becomes more expedient with issues around cryptocurrency. To talk on cybersecurity in view of the unveiled Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy Paper 2021 is Aishatu Victoria Enape. She is the pro tem president, Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Professionals of Nigeria, and we could only get her on a telephone. Hello, madam. Are you with us? Good morning.
I'm with you. Good morning, sir.
Okay, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, to start with, exploring the internet for economic growth is a global trend. How is Nigeria taking advantage of this?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to appreciate the President Muhammadu Buhari for this giant stride. So on that, I would like to say that the internet, as you all know, is one of the major tools promoting and facilitating economic growth across the globe. As you all know, various economies from different regions of the world have greatly explored the internet and the endless opportunities it offers. And by this, they have recorded tremendous economic growth and development. And this is obvious. Nigeria, of course, is not left out. And in new order, as we have recorded some degree of economic progress as a result of digitalization. However, Nigeria's internet penetration level is put at 46.6%, which represents 96.05 of internet users. Now, the area of impact in our own country, number one is that the internet has opened up new markets and also expanded existing markets for goods and services.
Yes.
And this is what every one of us in Nigeria knows. Number two again is that access to internet also has brought about improvement in service delivery and enormous efficiency in a wide range of economic activities. Then proceeding from number two, I think I still have another one. Number three is that in taking advantage of the internet, Nigeria has also been able to transform and reposition its financial services sector for global competitiveness. Today, we can bank online, you can do everything online. You don't need to go to bank to do transfer and all of that. That is an example of what I'm actually saying. The number four
Okay,
is that
with this, that the internet has availed the Nigerian public. Amid this drive, there is the fear of possible infiltration by online financial fraudsters and cyber terrorists. Are these fears real, following all these advantages that you've enumerated?
Obviously, the possibility of infiltration and cyber attacks is very clear and present, is a very present danger facing every society, regardless of the level of digital sophistication. And you know, Nigeria is not left out. So exactly what I have said is that the fear is obvious by cyber criminals, because cyber criminals, as we all know, is real. Since the beginning of time, we have always had criminals. And as time goes on, criminals, just like every other aspect of human being, has evolved. So in today, most activities are now online, and because of that, they are infiltrating the whole thing already.
A policy has been unveiled by the president. What should stakeholders do to ensure that the implementation of this policy gets to hit the ground running, and for us to have safety in our cyberspace? What should we do?
Well, what we should do is that we must be in place. We must put in place some mechanisms to ensure that this works. Framework in place to ensure adequate regulation and control as well is very, very important. Mechanisms and resolution of possible conflicts, as much as we know, is also very important. So the national cyber security policy and strategy 2021, as put forward by Mr. President now, is itself in the right direction. But then we must be able to put in place some mechanisms to protect, to detect, and investigate if it eventually happens.
Okay, talking about investigative strategies to be put in place. Nigeria is rated second in cryptocurrency transactions globally, and with huge economic benefits for largely the youth population. What do you think of cryptocurrency regulation with this framework that has been put in place?
Well, the cryptocurrency regulation that is there and this current framework that have been put in place, if we'll be able to regulate it and get it shipped properly, the only thing we need to do is to ensure that we should hold on to the deal called Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Professionals of Nigeria, because this particular institute or this body that have come to Nigeria to ensure that we bring sanity will help us in checkmating whatever that is happening in this cryptocurrency. Because that cryptocurrency, as you see, a lot of people are using it now to commit fraud.
Okay, then how best can the cyberspace be protected from your view as a forensic and investigative expert?
Number one is that an institutional framework like Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Professionals of Nigeria should be in place to provide the necessary training and certification for practitioners in the field of forensic, which is most essential. then there will be also help to build a reliable and a knowledgeable body of experts to provide cut-edge technical support for the Nigerian and the community. Apart from that, we can also there should be a sufficient cyber security awareness which we do every month. We carry out this security cybercrime security awareness every month free of charge. As we speak, we have one training today. Another one is there. This is exactly what we are doing to make sure that some of these things are checkmated.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Aisha to Victoria Nape, for providing capacity building in cyber security for Nigerians for free.
Thank you very much.
Moving next is our Surviving COVID-19 series, and we bring you a young entrepreneur, Abdul Wahab Taiwo, who is into computer embroidery. He tells us Business Express correspondent Musa Abubakar how he is coping with the threat of COVID-19.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Abdul Wahab's business enjoy lots of patronage in Abuja, with demand for product branding, corporate advertising, and uniform adornment on his list of services.
This is a computer embroidery shop. We make designs, a kind of embroidery designs for any kind of material, any kind of fabrics. We came to introduce this to them, especially even in Abuja. It has never been that common anywhere. So we are just introducing this to them, and I hope with time things will get better.
Then came the first wave of COVID-19. His and most businesses had to shut down in compliance to lockdown directives.
Before the COVID-19, the business was going on fine. But since after the COVID-19, I must tell you, it has never been easy. Financially, it has never been easy. We need to go, to borrow money, at least to get the business back on track. So, and we are still trying to, I have about 4 of them. But now I'm having just only one person working with me.
And when businesses began to peak after relaxation of lockdown directives, then came the second wave of the viral infection.
We have no choice than to go back to work, try to, make some money so that we can be able to take care of ourselves, family, and the loved ones around. The business, it's.
Has it picked up?
No, not yet. Not yet. We are just trying to, at least once we are here and they keep coming, seeing us around, they will know we are back. And by God's grace, I believe things will get better soon.
Abdul Wahab says his business needs funds, which he hopes to access the federal government's COVID-19 intervention fund.
I need more funds. I need to get a bigger machines that can handle more works in a mass production level.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission said 11 electricity distribution companies failed to remit 160.1 billion naira in second quarter to the market operator of the Transmission Company of Nigeria. In the quarter under review, the DISCOs paid 62.41 billion naira to the MO. The report notes that during the second quarter of 2020, a total invoice of 222.51 billion naira was issued. The 11 discos for energy received from the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading and for service charge by MO, out of which a sum of 62.61 billion naira was settled, representing a remittance performance of 28.05%. Next said this represents a 4.67 percentage points decline from the final settlement rate recorded in the first quarter of 2020. The safe haven US dollar weakened near 3-year lows versus riskier currencies this Thursday as continued dovish signals from the Federal Reserve stoked reflation bets. A look at the exchange rate is next. Oil prices rose for a fourth straight session on Thursday to the highest levels in more than 13 months, underpinned by monetary easing policies and lower crude production in the United States. Brent crude futures gained 0.3% to $67.23 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $63.30 a barrel, up by 0.1%. Both contracts touched their highest since January 2020. Earlier in a session with Brent at $67.44 and West Texas Intermediate at $63.67. On that note, we see how oil and other commodities are trading in early trade this Thursday. A rally in everything from stocks to oil shows investors believe growth is coming. But data on the labor market and consumer spending suggests the recovery has a long way to go. How are global stocks performing this Thursday? Neka Oko has a summary.
Stocks in Asia Pacific jumped in Thursday trade after the Dow Jones Industrial Average surged to a record closing high overnight. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index also saw robust gains as it rose 1.57%, while the Nikkei 225 gained 1.6%. Mainland Chinese stocks were higher as the Shanghai Composite gained about 0.59%, while the Shenzhen Component advanced 0.648%. European stocks opened higher Thursday as global markets jumped. London's FTSE opened 25 points higher at 6,658.97. Germany's DAX up 78 points at 14,059, while CAC 40 of France also climbed 28 points at 5,825. U.S. stock indices moved higher in early trading Thursday after the Dow closed at a record level. S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 also both traded in positive territory. African markets are open but yet to post numbers after mixed trading on Wednesday. Neka Oku, Business Express.
This is where we end this episode of the program. Don't forget you can access this and all previous episodes on YouTube, and you can also communicate with us on Twitter. The handle is NTA News Now and the hashtag is BizX. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you another fresh episode. Stay safe.